Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I really hope you enjoy this discourse. So lately, I've been working a lot with you guys. A lot of questions keep coming in. So I'm dedicating this discourse to all of you guys. So today we are going to talk about something very real and very rarely spoken about. The moment when your spiritual connection to your divine masculine, the one that once felt divine, suddenly starts to feel wrong. So, as the topic reads, today we are going to talk about soul recoil. When astral lovemaking, telepathy, and energy merge, all starts to feel wrong. Especially to the point where you don't feel it is intimacy anymore. It's like invasion. And this is a stage in your journey, in every monadic twin flame journey as divine feminines we experience. So that's why I thought this topic very, very crucial, especially because it felt so divine, right? We were always as divine feminines during that separation, during that separation phase. All that we had was telepathy, astral meetings, and all of these energy mergings. So when all of that starts to disappear, what is left? And what I mean, what is left? And when all of it starts to feel wrong. So again, I'm not going to use the S word, so I'm going to use lovemaking instead so that I'm not flagged. So see it this way. Maybe it's the astral lovemaking, maybe the astral lovemaking is leaving you drained and even repulsed. And those telepathic messages that used to be so comforting, that used to give you so much clarity in your journey, all of a sudden is now triggering anxiety or even emotional exhaustion. Maybe you're sensing a merging of feels that once felt like love and now feels like invasion. So this is what, dear ones who are watching this video, this is what I would call soul recoil. And if it's happening to you, remember, you are not going crazy. You're not broken. You're actually finally safe enough to recognize when energy is no longer coherent with your truth. So, today we are going to dissect the etheric boundaries, energetic consent, and the whole collapse of, you could call it false merging. But you know what? At that stage, it was necessary. So don't you needed to go through that stage to be in this stage. So see it this way, right? I'm going to go much deeper. Soul recoil is not rejection of your divine masculine. It's a rejection of a frequency that your soul no longer consents to. It's the body and energetic field saying, this once felt very sacred. Now, it doesn't feel so safe. However, don't get me wrong here. The love is still there, but your field, listen to this part really carefully. So the field is no longer open to merging with your divine masculine whose current self is not in alignment. So that is what you guys have to pay attention to. So remember, soul recoil is the moment your energetic body, without warning, rejects the frequency of a connection it once welcomed. And this happens in very advanced stages of your twin flame journey. As I was saying, when the astral connection starts to feel invasive, confusing, or even draining, and when the telepathy that you always enjoyed starts to become emotionally overwhelming, repetitive, it's on repeat, or even causing a bit of anxiety. And the energy merge, especially, back then, during meditation, during dreams, or love making in the astral, it felt so good. Suddenly, it's triggering discomfort, disgust, or even fragmentation. Remember, you are not broken. You're not regressing. You are waking up to incoherence. And you all would ask me the golden question: why does this happen? So this usually happens after a deep level up in your own frequency. This actually happens when you have been doing the work, when you have been healing, anchoring, and recalibrating. And now, what your field once allowed out of longing, the spiritual bypass, or hope, suddenly activates a rejection reflux. And it's not because your divine masculine is evil, or your divine masculine is a loser, or your divine masculine is full of crap, or your divine masculine is just an idiot. And it's not because the bond is fake either. It is because astral connection without coherence becomes distortion. So I want you guys to truly, let this sink in. Astral connection without coherence becomes distortion. So I hope you guys are following me here. The next part, the soul recoil triggers. Why this happens all of a sudden? So the stage of soul recoil is not out of choice. It is an automatic soul response. And this happens when the astral connection with your divine masculine is still active. But your beloved divine masculine in his human form is out of alignment. Secondly, you have evolved beyond the frequency of that karmic template, 3D stuff, the 3D matters. And now your field is protecting itself. And thirdly, you have entered a post-illusion threshold where intimacy must match integrity or it will be severed. So, for example, it is similar to food. It's similar to the food you once craved, but it starts making you sick once your body detoxes. So basically, your field is saying, this once felt sacred, but now it feels unsafe. This once felt divine, but now it feels distorted. So, how does the soul recoil actually feel? So here are some ways where the soul recoil stage can actually show up. So as I was mentioning much earlier, suddenly, before bedtime, you would think of your DM and you will start, example, being intimate. It might suddenly start feeling a bit intrusive or even triggering, actually very, very triggering. You might suddenly feel like this guy doesn't deserve me. This version of my DM totally doesn't deserve me. So why should I even spend time with him in the astral? You would wake up from a telepathic dream feeling very drained instead of being inspired or nourished like you used to. And your body tightens, or you start to feel very anxious when you sense him energetically merging, because you feel like, hey, mister, your 3D self is not in alignment. So why are you trying to, hang around me and merge with me multidimensionally? So you would also feel emotionally hijacked by psychic messages you didn't ask for. So this is like seeing signs or getting messages, and you're like, I don't want any of it. So this is your energetic immune system kicking in. So you would be asking, why must the body, our nervous system, and energy field start to reject the merge? So because you're feeling the physical discomfort during astral intimacy or higher heart merging, nausea or energetic dysregulation after dreaming of them, or a tight chest or sharp resistance during attempted telepathy, and you're feeling like you're being watched, pulled into a frequency that doesn't feel clean, or erotic merging starts to feel like intrusion, energetic intrusion rather than sacred communion, these are signs of your etheric boundary system reactivating. So hear me very closely here. These are very clear signs of your etheric boundary system reactivating. So your system is no longer consenting to ungrounded access, no matter how sacred it is once felt. So this is one of the most this is the most important part of today's discourse. And I'm going to emphasize this a little bit more than the other parts. So the false belief of unconditional access. So that belief that just because you're one soul divided to two, you've got unconditional access to one another. That is what, as divine feminines, we have been conditioned to believe. If it's real love, I should always stay open. But that's not love. That's energetic self-abandonment. You are allowed to revoke access even from someone you love eternally, especially if your divine masculine's human self is not matching the frequency his soul once did. So, the fallacy of unconditional access is such an important part of actually understanding why we behave the way we behave as divine feminines. Because we're so conditioned, right, to the belief, if I truly love him, I should always be open to him in soul, heart, and energy. He can keep on doing what he wants to do, and I will keep on forgiving him. I'll keep on being available to him. But actually, you are totally giving yourself out of, it's not compassion, it's like I had explained in my previous discourse. When you start behaving this way, what actually happens is that you are performing. You're not being a coherent flame. So that's why this belief is very dangerous, especially for category 1 twin flames, the karmic detourer phases. Very, very dangerous. False twins or energy mimicry attacks, you will start to open your field, because your field becomes very vulnerable. And then this belief can be very, very dangerous when the masculine is merging from avoidance and not coherence. So this is something that you got to note. Because when our divine masculine is merging from avoidance and not coherence, it actually affects us very much. So you need to let go of this belief of unconditional access. Sometimes drawing energetic boundaries is necessary. And this is what I mean. Sometimes, in some stages, it's okay, when you're in earlier stages of your twin flame connection and when you're going through separation for the first time, it's okay to rely on this. But there will come a stage before union where all of these astral ways of communication, astral ways of telepathic communication, they start to become an obstacle for your union. And that's why I wanted to really delve deep into this discourse. Remember, your unconscious spiritual openness becomes a portal for fragmentation, emotional depletion, and confused soul timelines. So this is why the recoil begins. So see it this way. Your soul closes the door, your ego left open. So everything that you do, oh, I know, I'm doing it out of compassion, I'm doing it out of kindness, it is actually from the ego level. So next time you got to ask yourself this question: am I operating from soul, from my higher self, or am I operating from ego? So what does this soul recoil mean spiritually? So this phase doesn't mean the connection is over, but it does mean something must change. You are no longer able to spiritually be intimate with your divine masculine, whose choices do not honor your soul. And this is powerful because this recoil, let me emphasize on this, because this recoil, it's not separation, it is actually integration. This isn't you pulling away, it's you pulling back into yourself. This isn't betrayal of the connection, this is the return to energetic sovereignty. So you're finally discerning between true soul merge versus false access. So this is really, really my favorite part of this discourse, because I'm able to go much deeper into what is a true soul merge versus what's a false access. So true soul merge, you feel grounded, safe, mutually wanted. But false access, unconscious, one-sided, very draining. Usually you would feel high for a while and then you'll feel drained out. So that is false access. True soul merge follows choice, clarity, readiness. False access follows longing, fantasy, and escapism. True soul merge, nourishing, expanding. False access, fragmenting, and chaotic. And true soul merge happens with alignment, and false access happens despite misalignment. This shift means your inner masculine is stepping up to protect your frequency. So what to do when this happens? So if you are in this stage of the journey, do comment. Number one, don't shame yourself for recoiling. You're protecting your coherence. Number two, don't force the bond to feel good. Again, this discomfort is sacred, truly sacred. Call your energy home. So, this is very important. You might be feeling like there's a void, but when you start calling your energy home, you start to adapt a true soul merge versus giving false access. Rebuild consent in the etheric. So if he wants access, he must now meet your truth, not longing. And that's when the whole triangulation into 3D starts happening. And let the astral silence be divine. If he's meant to return, he will rise into the frequency that can hold you clearly. despite 3D and multidimensionally. So, this is where I've noticed many of my clients getting stuck. Sometimes they mistake astral intimacy for emotional availability. They may mistake telepathic access for real world growth. But real twin flame union doesn't happen in the astrals. It does. At some point, it is designed that way to come to this stage, see it that way. But it happens in the fully integrated field of truth. And that's what I mean by merging into every version, like every dimension, every density, you become one. So when the truth isn't present in the physical or energetic realm, the body will stop merging, because astral lovemaking without soul integrity is energetic bypass. Telepathy without emotional responsibility is a soul code leakage. Energetic merging without consent is spiritual invasion. So remember, you are not rejecting love, you're refusing distortion. And that, my dear ones, is what it's when true union begins, is what true union demands, because union is not about eternal openness, it's about sacred alignment. So if your soul is recoiling now, trust it. It's not a collapse, it's a calibration. So as I'm wrapping up this video, I'm sending you all love, sovereignty, and clarity. And if this resonated with you guys, if this video resonates with you guys, do hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you are in this phase, or you're entering this phase, or if you have experienced this phase, and what it has taught you. So until next time, stay coherent, stay sovereign, and stay in your truth. And if you guys want to work privately with me, one-on-one sessions, you can visit my website. And I would love to, I can help you. I would love to help you guys if you need any help. So yes, I'm a psychic, so I do Akashic record readings, multidimensional readings, and I do a lot of healings as well. So do check out my website. And if you need guidance, you can book a session via my website. All right, then. See you guys. Until next time. And yes, and until next time, and I'm thinking I'll probably do a part 2 for this. And until next time, I just want you guys to remember that when you're going through this stage, when you are going through a soul recoil stage, so what to do when you're actually going through a soul recoil stage? Acknowledge the recoil without shame. You're not cold, you are clean. Collapse the old contracts. Any template of always available has to die now. Re-establish energetic consent. You decide who enters your field. Call back your field, all right? And don't interpret recoil as loss. It's a protective grace, possibly pre-union if coherence is chosen. All right. Until then, remember, you're not wrong for suddenly wanting out. You're not cold for feeling disgust or recoil. You're not disloyal for protecting your frequency. Real love does not demand spiritual oneness without alignment. Your body, your soul, your energy. Remember, it always requires integrity. This is the sacred intelligence of union. Let your soul say no, so when it says yes again, it's real. All right, I'll see you all again. So don't forget what to do when soul recall begins. See you all, and bye-bye.